Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have an HP EliteBook 850 G7. I'm going to take you on a teardown and upgrade tour, show you how to get inside, and how to access and upgrade many of the various components once you're in. So first thing, power down your computer, make sure that it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're then going to flip your computer over to access the bottom case screws. You'll see the screws that need to be removed near the red arrows. After removing those screws, you'll take a small, flat pry tool. It's generally best to start out back near one of the two hinge assemblies in the corners. Pry the bottom case up from the computer, work your way down the sides towards the front. Now, don't put your pry tool too far in. You could damage some internal components. Just keep it on the edge, go nice and slow but firm, and you'll be able to get that bottom case off. After you do, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general computer repair side note, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you would like any help with tools or supplies for your computer project, as well as any of the replacement and upgrade parts for this specific model computer, I will have a link above, also below in the description, and it will be a list of all the tools and supplies as well as the replacement and upgrade parts for this computer. Now, before touching anything in a computer, it's always best to unplug your battery first. Computers are safer to work on when as little power as possible is running through them. Your battery is right down here near the bottom of my screen. This battery is an 11.55 volt, 56 watt hour battery. The HP part number for this is CC03XL. I will have all that information below in the description for your reference, but I will also have a battery replacement option in that list I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and replacement parts for this model computer. The battery is held in by screws next to the red arrows and plugs into the motherboard near the blue arrow. To unplug it from the motherboard, you would pull the plug down out of that port. However, be careful when pulling on wires or cables in a computer. If you pull too hard, you could damage them, and sometimes you could pull them right out of the plug. So if at all possible, just manipulate the plug as much as you can. Use a pry tool or your fingernails to wiggle that out of that port so you don't damage the wires. One thing to mention about this operation, if you are here because your computer is not turning on, it could be a bad battery. You may have to replace it. But keep in mind that most laptops should still turn on and work with a bad battery as long as the charger is plugged in and working. So if your computer is not turning on, there could be something else wrong other than just a bad battery. If you would like help troubleshooting your issue, I will have a video tutorial link above, also below in the description, and that will be the full troubleshooting process I use in my shop to find out why a laptop's not turning on and how to fix it. To access your RAM, you need to remove this metal guard. You would pull up on that pull tab and that metal guard will come off. This computer has two RAM slots for SODIMM DDR4 3200 megahertz RAM, and the max RAM capacity for this computer is 64 gigabytes. I will have all that information below in the description for your reference, but I will also include several replacement and upgrade options in that list I told you about, with all of the tools, supplies, and replacement parts for this model computer. I will have a single stick of 8 gigabyte RAM in that list if you're replacing the one that went bad and you don't want to spend more than you have to, or if you just want a little upgrade and add an 8 gigabyte stick to that secondary empty port. But I will also include a 16 gigabyte kit, which would be two 8 gigabyte sticks, one for each port. I will include a 32 gigabyte stick, which would be two 16 gigabyte sticks for each port. And then I will include ultimately that 64 gigabyte kit that should max out your RAM, which would be a 32 gigabyte stick, one for each port. The way to operate RAM, you see two spring-loaded metal arms on either side of the RAM stick near the red arrows. The way to get the RAM out is you would gently pry those apart from each other, away from the RAM stick. The RAM will then release. It'll often pop up a little bit, and then you can pull it out of that port. To get the RAM stick back in, if you'll notice near the blue arrows, there's a long section to the plug and a short section. So you can only get the RAM stick in one way. You can't put it in upside down. Once you get it in, get it nice and lined up and flush. Make sure the gold section near the green arrow, make sure that's nice and even along the length of the port. Once it is, you just press down on the RAM stick and the metal arms will latch onto it and hold it in place. As far as storage, this computer has a single M2 PCIe Gen 4 solid state drive slot near the red arrow. I will have all the solid state drive information below in the description for your reference, but I will also have several replacement and upgrade options for you below in the description in that link I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and parts for this computer. I will try to have a 500 gigabyte solid state drive. If yours went bad, you're replacing it, but you don't want to spend more than you have to. But I will also include a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte upgrade option. Unfortunately, this computer doesn't have a secondary storage location, so if you're looking for a much larger bulk storage, I will have a couple external drive options for you as well. One solid state drive, one hard drive. The way to operate the solid state drive is to remove that single screw on the end in the middle. The solid state drive will then release and you can pull it out of that port. Also, keep in mind if you are installing a new drive onto this computer, you may need to install an operating system onto it afterwards. I will have video tutorial links below in the description showing you how to do that. Also, be aware that if you're replacing a drive that has gone bad, it's usually possible to recover data even from those bad drives. I will have more information about that below in the description as well. Your CMOS battery is right here, noted by the red arrow, and it plugs into the motherboard at the blue arrow. Now, this battery is wrapped in black electrical tape and it's stuck to the computer with double-sided tape. So if you're here to replace it, you can very easily just pull that off, pop that right off of the computer. If you're here to reset BIOS with this method, you can leave the actual battery down. There's no need to take it up. All you would need to do is unplug it from the motherboard. Now that's a small, fragile wire. Don't just yank on the wire. You could damage it. Try to use your fingernails or a pry tool to wiggle the plug out of the port, and leaving it unplugged for about 15-20 seconds should be sufficient to reset BIOS. Now, as a side note, this operation in most cases will only reset your BIOS system settings and not your BIOS password. For more BIOS password reset information, look below in the description. Also, this operation is a common troubleshooting step when your computer is not turning on. If that's why you're here, I will have a tutorial video link below in the description, also above in the video, and that will be the full troubleshooting video I use in my shop to find out why a laptop's not turning on and how to fix it if you need help with that. The Wi-Fi card is noted near the red arrow. You would remove the screw noted by the blue arrow, and that Wi-Fi card will release, and then you can take it out of that port. After that, the only thing left on the card would be the antenna wire, and those are just snaps. So to remove those, you would just pull directly up and off of the Wi-Fi card, and those will snap off. However, they do need to be at a perfect 90-degree angle to snap back on, and you are strong enough to damage them if they're not at the right angle and you try to force it. So it could be a pain in the butt, but just go nice and slow, be patient. You will be able to snap those back on. I will have all the Wi-Fi card specifications below in the description if you would like help finding a replacement, but I will also try to have a replacement option for you in that list I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and replacement parts for this model computer. As a side note, if you are having issues in your computer where you cannot see any Wi-Fi networks, you can't access your Wi-Fi options, that's most likely a system driver issue. It's probably not a Wi-Fi card issue. I will have a video tutorial link below in the description, also above in the video, and that will help you troubleshoot that before coming in here to try an invasive repair like this. The single speaker bar in this computer is noted by the red arrow and plugs into the motherboard near the blue arrow. Speaker wires are very small, very fragile, so definitely don't pull on them more than you have to. Use your fingernails or a pry tool or a small pair of pliers to wiggle that plug out of that port. And as an extra side note, if you are having sound quality issues in your computer, if your sound is not consistent across different platforms, try updating your drivers first and trying to fix it that way before assuming that it's a speaker issue and trying an invasive repair like this. I will have a video tutorial link below in the description, also above in the video, and it will show you how to make sure your drivers are updated so you can rule that out first. The fan is noted by the red arrow. It plugs into the motherboard near the green arrow, and you can see the heatsink go over your CPU and GPU near the blue arrows. I will try to have a fan replacement option for you below in that link I told you about, with all of the tools and supplies and replacement parts for this computer. Also, if you're here to replace your fan or clean it out, be very careful when unplugging it. That wire is very fragile. Try not to pull on it more than you have to. Just try to use your fingernails or a pry tool or a small pair of pliers. If you are here to clean out your computer either due to overheating or preventative maintenance, you probably want to reapply thermal paste as well. I will have a video tutorial link above and below in the description that shows you the full process of cleaning out your fan, but also reapplying thermal paste. After unscrewing those screws above your CPU and GPU, you want to clean all the old thermal paste off from both the processors as well as the underside of those heat sinks. You don't want to put new paste on top of old paste. Also, if you put too little thermal paste down, it obviously won't do its job. But if you put too much thermal paste down, it ends up locking heat in rather than facilitating its transport out. So again, that tutorial will be above and below in the description if you would like help with that. But that's the end of the video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, check out the FAQs below in the description. It could save you some time getting an answer. If you do need to leave me a question or comment, please feel free. I do try to get to those a couple times a day at least. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.